welcome to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him at gods5minutes@gmail.com. Now, here's Ed Wilson with God's 5 Minutes.
Hello, friends. Perhaps the most widely known, often quoted, and most greatly appreciated poem in the world is David's 23rd Psalm. The closing verse of this brief but potent description of the close and blessed connection that exists between God and those who walk with Him reads, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." Let's take a look at what some of those words mean. The psalm opens with David's expression of his covenant with God. In a magnificent statement of trust and determination, he reached into eternity to put his human hand in God's with a simple, "The Lord is my shepherd." Here we see the decision of a man who has weighed life's courses, seen something the results that come to those who follow the various ones open to us in this time world, and made a firm resolve of what his course shall be. The Lord is my shepherd, not money, not vengeance, not the pleasures available to a king, not any pagan god. The Lord is my shepherd. Then follows another 4 words that are the focus of the entire 23rd Psalm, for all the other statements in it derive their strength from it. I shall not want. In these 2 expressions, we have a picture of the faith and its fruit that have been the experience of every holy believer in all the generations since, and are the vital living center of worship of Jehovah. The next verses of the psalm deal with several of life's conditions until David came to his closing statement, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me." The word mercy is translated from the Hebrew hesed. The sentence itself can be considered both another expression of David's faith and a promise from his God based on the covenant that existed between them. You see, God's mercy cannot be fully claimed or expected randomly. There are terms on our side of the covenant as well as his, and David struggled throughout his lifetime to uphold his side according to the law of Moses under which he lived. He was successful to the extent that God was pleased to call him a man after mine own heart. On that foundation, he confidently asserted, regardless of anything that lay before him, mercy shall follow me. The Hebrew word has a range of meanings. They include, presumably from God, kindness toward people in doing favors and benefits, and especially as extended to the lowly and needy. They also extend to redemption from enemies and troubles, preservation from from death, and a quickening of spiritual life. The scope of the biblical term is broad, for it is used to describe a virtue as great as the heavens and can pass from generation to generation. All these definitions fit the relationship David enjoyed with God. And although the man himself has long been dust, God's sure mercies to David can still touch our lives across the centuries because God has caused his writings to be preserved. But this verse stretches to something more than David's personal salvation. It says, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me." Things that follow us trail behind us. Think of a motorboat going across a lake. The wake produced by the whirling propeller and the hull of the boat create a broad wave that spreads out in an ever-widening V that lifts everything on the lake as it passes beneath until it breaks and splashes against the shoreline. Nothing could be more natural than for someone who has found great mercy from God to leave mercy in their wake. There are many reasons for this. One is that someone who is a continual beneficiary of God's mercy is apt to have plenty of things to use in showing mercy. Some extra dollars, a reliable car, a warm coat. Another is that receiving God's gentle benevolence creates in his child the same attitude of kindness, which is a natural draw to those who need solace and courage. That word hesed even extends to animals, for a merciful person is touched by suffering and likes his pets and livestock to be fed and shown affection. Have you talked to God today?
You have been listening to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him by email at godsfive minutes@gmail.com. Tune in next time to hear more encouraging thoughts from God's Word on God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson.